Welcome to the return slot of horror, a podcast set in the basement of a video store, a place where your hosts, Mickey and Michelangelo, hang out after hours, enjoy spooky cocktails, and can't seem to wax poetic enough about their love for horror films. We invite you to grab a drink, be careful on the stairs, and join us on our journey through the many subsections of our little video store. And don't be the last one left in the basement at the end of the night.
Welcome, listener, to the return slot.
God damn it, Michelangelo. Why do you always have to be such an asshole?
Well, hey, watch the language. This is our YouTube video. This is our exclusive YouTube video.
Do you know the following line to that?
To what?
That's a line from the film we're going to talk about. Do you know the following line? The following line is, sorry, I'm not an asshole, I'm an actor. It fits you so perfect. I'm not an asshole, I'm an actor.
Okay,
and of horror.
A podcast recorded by myself, Michelangelo, and Mickey in the basement of our video store after hours. When the doors are locked, the VHSs are rewound, and the moon is glowing pale blue on a brisk and breezy night. We like to hang out in the basement, light a scented candle, crack open a drink, and discuss our beloved genre, horror. Every episode, we invite you to join us for a frosty libation as we discuss a film selected from one of our painstakingly curated subsections of the video store. Mickey, can you elaborate on this, please, for anyone who might not know what I'm talking about?
Of course. Back in the day before there was streaming and even before Blockbuster, there were these independent video stores. And to appease the appetites of all those movie nerds like myself and Michelangelo, they would fill their shelves with anything they could get their hands on, especially the ones that I gravitated towards were those video nasties. These mom and pop shops were responsible for taking the horror genre from limited theater runs and late night drive-ins to every rural, suburb, summer camp in America. But what really made these video stores special were the people working in the store, curating personalized sections based on their interests and the interests of their patrons. Recommendations based on conversations, man, not algorithms. So here at the Return Slot, we keep that spirit alive and strong. We hope you enjoy perusing our sections and joining in our conversations.
Now, I'm going to warn the listener.
Warn them.
This is the hangout, drink with friends, and talk about horror films that you love podcast.
You've been told. You've been told.
This podcast is just as much about us as it is about the films that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. And this is a very special, very, very special evening.
Exclusive, you might say.
Exclusive. This is an exclusive episode. This is a few things. Not only is this a YouTube exclusive episode, right? But it's also a redux. And it's a future Friday the 13th episode.
Wow.
If you're listening to this, this is like you can only see this on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're listening to this, it's December, Friday the 13th, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
December?
December, right?
Yeah. December. If you're listening, if you're watching, this is the summertime 2024.
Yeah, no, you're getting something exclusive. But but if you're not getting this on the podcast till December, that's how long you got to wait.
You got to wait.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So if you're on the podcast right now, you could have had this months in advance, but you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel. You should get on the YouTube channel.
You got to get to the channel.
You got to get to the channel.
And where do they go?
To the Return Slot of Horror podcast. A YouTube channel
on the Red Tower Network.
On the Red Tower Network, yes.
So that beautiful voice you were hearing earlier is Friday the 13th expert and fan enthusiast Chris. Chris, thank you for joining us in the basement this evening. Did you know how special tonight was going to be?
Yeah,
I didn't know that it was a dismember to remember. It's December.
Yeah.
Yes. And the jokes are always better when you explain them. So okay. It's a special episode because it's exclusive. This is also a Michelangelo's Friday the 13th Clubhouse / basement party celebration of Friday the 13th episode, which Chris, obviously you know about because you listened to the podcast, so you would have heard our previous staff meeting episodes, right?
You listened to a couple times. We celebrate the 13th, Friday 13th, whenever there is one. So,
Chris,
Yo.
obviously, as Michelangelo's, I didn't even say my
Your own name?
You can't say your own name.
Edit that out. You edit that out.
Yeah, the machine's broken.
That was a lag. It was a lag in the internet.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. A glitch in the Matrix.
Everyone knows, in order to get into Michelangelo's Friday the 13th Clubhouse basement party celebration of Friday the 13th, everybody knows you got to answer some trivia questions.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's the only way in.
So this is the trivia, and then you also sent me a questionnaire. This is really a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. This is fun.
I mean, do you want to be a part of this club or not, Chris? I'm sorry. This is the only
Don't
way.
answer that question, Chris. Don't answer that question. It's a part of the quiz, okay?
Oh, okay.
Mickey, don't ask him questions like that because he'll leave.
Sorry.
Now, what did you bring as tribute?
Oh,
As tribute, did you make like perhaps a spooky cocktail?
Oh, I did. I'm calling it Shelly's mask because really, it's not Jason's mask. It's Shelly's.
Yeah.
It's
He's a
Shelly's
thief.
mask.
He should be arrested and prosecuted at the full extent of the law for the theft.
For the theft of Shelly's mask, not anything. And Shelly is really the unsung hero of this film, and we'll get to that when we start talking about the film. But right now, this is the umbrella entry initiation phase.
He's not Shelly's not an asshole. He's just an actor, guys.
Just an actor.
Just an actor. Mickey, did you oh, wait a second. You have to tell me how do you make the spooky cocktail?
So it's a take on a drink that I really enjoy in the summertime called an iceberg. So you make a frozen margarita, which is a little bit of a fancy one with strawberries in it. So it's a nice blood red. And then
Did those come from the garden? Those come from the garden?
They did, actually. My gutter strawberries that I grow in a gutter. You make a frozen margarita with some strawberries. Then you pour half a glass of some light beer. And then you top with that frozen margarita mix. So it creates like an iceberg on top. Garnish with a little sanding sugar and a little slice of strawberry and a lime.
That sounds
great.
Refreshing.
So refreshing.
It's hot in the basement tonight.
And it's that summer heat wave in December.
Yeah, but all you podcasters, you're not gonna want this in your cold, dark rooms.
Yeah, it'd be too cold for you because it's December.
Yeah, but it's also you gotta hop onto YouTube.
That's why you gotta get the YouTubes. Yeah, you get these things early. YouTubes. Okay.
Yeah, the YouTubes.
Mickey, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I went with Fatheads Brewery, their groovy, juicy, hazy IPA. Because you know what? Nothing says groovy like the way they remixed the soundtrack to this. They made it groovy, baby. It was almost like a Michael Jackson jam. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, let's get it. Yeah, all right. But that's why I went with the groovy IPA.
So you wouldn't leave this soundtrack alone with your son? That's what you're saying?
No. Yeah, just like
but
MJ.
It's like you enjoy the music, but you don't trust the music. With your son.
I mean, you can like the art without liking the artist.
What you drinking, buddy?
Well, since Olympia Beer is no longer in operation as of I think it like 2017 or 2019,
long time
when they finally stopped. Pabst Blue Ribbon acquired them, so I'm having some Pabst Blue Ribbon
PBR
in honor of Olympia Brewing. I used to have my grandpa owned like a convenience store that eventually, as times got harder, turned into a liquor store essentially. So you always used to get like promotional like beer and liquor swag.
Yeah.
And one of the things we had in my room growing up was like a 3D light up Olympia beer sign.
Hell yeah.
Where it was like
horseshoe and the waterfall and all that.
Oh, yeah, it was like there was horses and a waterfall and mountain Olympia beer, and it lit up and it was fucking awesome. So I'm having some Pabst Blue Ribbon. I'm sweating my ass off, by the way.
Yeah.
Gotta keep hydrating. Drink more beer.
Exactly.
Except
artisanal. It's made with artisanal, or at least Olympia beer was with artisanal spring water. That was like part of their whole thing in Washington. That's the claim.
You've been to Olympia, Washington? Have my doubts.
I have not been. Have you been to Olympia, Washington?
Yeah, it's a place.
Okay, shots fired on Olympia,
Yeah,
Washington.
if you're from Olympia, I don't know what he's
Chris is
talking
just
about.
a guest on the podcast. He is not a regular on the podcast. We do not endorse anything he says. So, okay, Chris.
Yo.
As
It's
our
time.
honored guest, your
All right.
initiation into the club. You have to answer these 13 trivia questions.
13?
Well, it's Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't get that. Thanks for clarifying. It wasn't the number that was the throw off. It was the connection between the two 13s.
Listen, this is super easy, and I'm sure that Michelangelo would be open for you means testing him at some point.
Yes, of course. Now, this is an honor system, so don't go on your phone. Don't look at your notes, and you can ask Mickey for help. Mickey can help you out with these.
Not going to do any of that.
Okay. So the first trivia question to get access to the basement in this episode tonight.
Okay. Yeah.
What 3 iconic horror films did Friday the 13th rip off?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a hard one, right? Because, I mean, you could say, obviously, Black Christmas. I mean, you could say probably Halloween, right?
Halloween.
78, 79, right?
Yeah.
I mean, The Burning, obviously. I like.
I don't know, Chris, about that Burning. But...
So far, Halloween's number 1.
Yeah, Burning was after. Burning was
There's
after.
a lot of no. The Burning was totally original. I got a heavy
Listen to
vibe
our
of
episode of The Burning if you haven't yet.
Those old like Bing Crosby travel films. I get a lot of vibes of that off of the Halloween off of Friday 13th.
Well, that's what Halloween was based on, and then F13 was taken.
I
don't think he's taking this seriously.
How about What About Bob? I'm gonna say What About Bob.
Just also, we can get through this faster if you just give me some fucking answers, man.
Yeah. I gotta take you seriously, and I don't like that.
Well, I mean, I think that he got there with some of it. Yeah, I mean, he said Halloween.
So what are the other 2?
I would think the music. The music is very much pulled from something else.
Oh, Saturday Night Fever.
Part 3, sure, but no.
Guys, this episode's gonna be 3 hours long if we don't get through this.
The strings.
Just give me
Jesus.
Wow, I've never seen somebody come in here and completely alpha Michelangelo in such a way.
He didn't alpha me.
Oh, he alphaed you, buddy. You're like, guys, we gotta get this back on the rail. This is going off the rails.
Ooh, Phantom of the Paradise, because he's wearing a half mask, so they need to up the ante, so they went full mask.
They went full
right?
mask. Yes.
Phantom of the The look on Michelangelo's face right now. It's priceless. See, this is why you gotta get the YouTube exclusive. You gotta get the YouTube exclusive.
To look at the pain and the agony, the regret, regret. I finally have broken him.
Like,
you broke me a while ago.
That's true.
You're ruining the podcast as well as my life.
I'm ruining the podcast. You're the one with your little questionnaire.
It's part of the tradition, which obviously you know about because you listen to all the episodes.
Yeah.
So, Mickey, do you want to answer the rest of these?
Yes.
Halloween. What are the others?
Halloween, Carrie, and Psycho.
Thank you, sir. That is correct. Okay.
I don't know about that. I don't think so.
Moving on.
No, let's go back. I don't think we really answered. Like, we didn't get to the meat of question 1.
Okay. So,
oh man, you are struggling. Your brow is sweaty. Your V on your shirt is getting deeper and deeper.
It's going past my nipples. Okay, this one's for Mickey because there's no way Chris knows this.
Hey! I feel like I should definitely get first stab at it.
Nice. Good answer.
What is the original name of the camp where they shot the original Friday the 13th? Mickey, do you remember?
It's I don't. It's either Camp Not a Voorhees or Camp Arawak.
Yeah, yeah, that's the best one.
Camp Not a Voorhees, very, very close. Camp Nobi Bosco, which is an actual camp
Bosco.
in New
That's
Jersey.
a made-up name.
Moving on. Chris,
Yo,
when does the first recorded murder happen in the Friday the 13th storyline?
like day or year or both, or only one,
I'll take
but not
anything.
the other.
I'll take anything.
50? Is it 58?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
good
all
job.
right.
Good job. Good job.
1858.
Yeah, yeah, it was those Pilgrim murders.
Yep. June 13th, 1958. Now, extra points. Can anyone name the counselors who were murdered?
I'm gonna go Gary and
Close.
Melinda.
Claudette and Barry.
So close.
Now, can either of you guess what was Jason's original name?
Cropsey.
Yeah.
Great
Someone
guesses.
say something.
It was Josh. What film critic gave this the original Friday the 13th a scathing review, and something that would probably get him in trouble now? Printed a beloved actress's address so that fans could write her hate mail.
Jesus, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Is it Ebert?
No, Siskel. 50-50 chance.
Yeah, you're right there. You're right there.
Yeah, he was so like he felt so betrayed by Betsy Palmer, who had this like beautiful career as like a family wholesome actor. And he felt betrayed, and like can you imagine something like that's insane?
Yeah.
I mean, I can, because that kind of shit happens like today, but like not by a critic. You know what I mean? Like
a respected critic.
Yeah, Siskel should know better than that.
It's like doxing is a thing now, but it's like then it was like that you would not do that if you were like one of the most renowned critics in the US on, and also just so catty.
Also, too, I mean, like, yeah, it's that woman actress's fault. Like, you don't know her life. Maybe she just needs that
she's
check,
fucking
man.
working.
Like, yeah, she's a working actor. Like,
yeah,
terrible.
Also, the thing she's most known for now. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
What a prick, Siskel.
Yeah.
Now, can rest in peace. Can
I know how you got cancer, being so mean.
that was Ebert. Was it? No, they both got cancer.
I think they both, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So sad. Can either of you name at least one Friday the 13th film that was released on Friday the 13th? It correlates. Go ahead.
Is it 5?
No, 5 is not one of them. It correlates. Chris or Mickey, do you have one?
I'm gonna say 4, but I don't think that's right.
4 was one of them.
Okay, it was one of
13th,
them. And the other
1984.
One was the other one.
There's more than 2.
No, there's more than 2. Okay. So
Well,
8 was Manhattan.
The later ones, right? Didn't they do like Go to Hell or one of those?
But that's not an F13. Those aren't F13s. Those are Jason movies.
We'll get into that. We're going to get into that. Friday the 13th, Part 3 was released on the 13th. Part 4, Part 7, Part 9, and the 2009 reimagined was all what were all released on an actual Friday the 13th. Now, how many, Chris? How many people does Jason kill? How many people does Jason kill in the first Friday the 13th film?
Well, Jason kills none.
Correct.
Yep. He threw you a softball.
Chris, in Jason Goes to Hell, Part 9, whose hand reaches up from hell to grab Jason's mask?
Oh, you know this.
Oh, it's Freddy Krueger.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Who plays
Gary
Chris?
Cooper? That's what I meant to say.
Yep. Chris, who plays the original Tommy Jarvis in Part 4?
Oh, what's his name?
Yep. Come on.
Feldman. Feldman?
Yeah.
Right?
One of the
Corey?
two Corey. Yeah, Corey.
Corey, right? Yeah. Okay.
He's one of the Corys. Yeah.
Don't remember his name.
Check out our Lost Boys episode on YouTube.
My favorite Michael Jackson ripoff musician.
We also we also have a silver bullet for the other Corey Haim.
Because you're gonna murder him.
Yep.
Yep.
We got that silver bullet when he comes back.
That silver bullet
We're
for
gonna take him
Corey.
out.
That son of a bitch. That poor bastard. He had a tough life, man. Tough life.
Oh yeah. Now, Chris, which movie is
Lord.
referred to as Jason versus Carrie?
Oh, that's the telekinesis lady. Is that
Yeah.
wait? That's
Don't say
six?
telekinesis lady.
6 or
One of
7?
the- oh
7?
boy. Oh boy. It's
Which
7.
one is
yeah,
it, Mickey?
7.
7.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, yep.
You got it. Okay, we're almost done.
It's been such
is-
a joy
what-
for the
what-
listener, I'm sure.
I know it is. I love the support I get. What name do the locals use for Camp Crystal Lake? Chris?
You know this, Chris.
Really?
Yeah.
The locals used for Camp Crystal Lake?
In the movies. In the
nickname.
movies. Yeah.
Oh. Which one does that come up in?
A lot
Well,
of them.
they just say it. Yeah,
Really?
they just call it. They call
Yeah.
it. They call it something.
Okay, Mickey, you know this. Go ahead.
I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Camp Blood.
Camp Blood.
It's not very good. They need a punch up.
Who is Jason's first kill in part 2?
Oh.
Oh. I haven't seen part 2 in a long time.
Okay. Mickey, do you know it? Don't
Jason's
cheat.
first. I'm not cheating. I'm not. My hands
Okay.
are up.
Okay.
All right. Jason's first kill in part 2 would be when he goes to get his little not pillowcase or potato sack head. I'm gonna say Farmer John.
Is incorrect. It's Alice.
In part 2, I'm so sorry. It is Alice from part 1. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was thinking. Yeah, my bad.
Now,
And
last
actually, it's
question.
part 3 opens the way I was just saying that. It's the guy who runs the country store. Yeah.
Mickey, who plays adult Jason on screen for the first time ever in the franchise history?
Who plays adult Jason for the first time ever? It's the okay. This is a trick question. Is it the makeup artist? Is it a female or is it Tom Savini? Or do you want the actual actor who played Jason?
You kind of remember a little bit of this. It
Okay.
was the costume designer Elaine Lutter
Elaine, yeah.
plays Jason's
yeah.
feet. So the first on-screen
Mhm.
appearance of
Ooh.
adult Jason is Elaine Lutter.
But she wasn't the makeup artist?
No, she was the costume designer.
Okay. My bad. Okay, yeah.
Some
And
other
it's-
chick job.
And
This
it's
was some
feet.
other chick job.
Costume, makeup, it all means the same to me. It's just some
Yeah,
girl's
fucking
job.
whatever. And that's our trivia. Thanks for playing. Yes! Congratulations. Now, if you are a constant listener of the podcast, you will know we just got out of the Camp Not of Voorhees section of the video store. So why not celebrate by actually talking about a Friday the 13th film?
Love it. Love it.
Tonight, we are talking about the last original Friday the 13th film, the first West Coast Crystal Lake shooting location. Its shooting script was titled Crystal Japan. It stars a jacked British Jason Voorhees. I am, of course, talking about 1982 Saturday the 14th, aka Friday the 13th, Part 3, 3D, A New Dimension and Terror.
A
And I'm
very
going to
special
quote-
film for you.
Very special to me, and I'm going to quote one of the creators here. We had very little time to spend on conventional things like character and plot. So with
it
that,
shows.
with that, now Chris is no expert. Chris does not adore the films the way some of us do, and that's
It's
okay,
true.
buddy. Do you remember your first exposure to Friday the 13th? Now, we're going to skip Mickey and I in this because we have previous episodes where we
So
talk
many
about
episodes.
this
Go
stuff.
back and listen.
Yeah. So, do you remember your first exposure to Friday the 13th, and did you connect with it?
I'm pretty sure that like my first obviously like connection to it would have been like seeing commercials when I was a real little kid, and then like seeing like the box covers in the video store. To like actually watching the movies, man, I don't remember. Like it all kind of runs together a bit in my head. Like I think maybe it was like I want to say I think the first one I watched was definitely in that mid area. I think it was probably 4, maybe 5. No, it wouldn't have been 5, probably like 4 or 6, somewhere in there. And then I kind of watched a few and then went back and watched some, and I've always been kind of off and on. Yeah, I don't know. Like it just the Friday the 13th just never really quite they're fine, but they just never really quite hit me like I think they did for you.
Wow.
So on your horror scale, Friday the 13th is not high on the list.
No, I would put I love the idea of Jason. I love the concept of Jason. The problem is I feel like most of the films kind of disappoint me.
Mhm.
So I think that as a concept actually kind of high, as an execution kind of low.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite part?
Film? Yeah.
In the
That's a good
series?
question. I don't think I distinctly have one. In rewatching this, which it's been a long time since I've seen it, it made me probably want to go back and rewatch. I think the section probably from 5 to 8 is probably my preferred area. And
Really?
Okay, that's
Probably.
interesting. That's really interesting.
I think I just like how nuts it is.
Yeah, it
Mhm,
is
mhm.
fucking nuts.
I'd say that's
It
the
gets
biggest
wild.
thing with a lot of the Friday the
Take
13th.
big swings.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing with a lot of the Friday the 13th is that it almost it doesn't it's not bad to me. It's also not good. It's just there, which almost I would prefer it to be worse in a way. You know what I mean? Because then I would have more of a reaction to it as a viewer. It's almost for some of these, some of the early films, and they're just so slow and kind of plotting that just kind of, I don't know, it kind of gets me a bit indifferent.
I mean, that makes sense. They jammed out in a decade. They jammed out 8 films.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
And who can blame them, man? If you spend $1 million and make 30, it's
Yeah.
good money.
Pretty easy investment there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I gotta say, part 5, A New Beginning, the Scooby-Doo, Friday the 13th, I love that they tried something new.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
There's
it
something
is
different.
batshit crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
it doesn't quite
Oh, no.
it's not
Yeah.
bad enough to be like
Mhm.
The Room or anything, and it's not quite executed with that sense of humor with a through line that it's completely so I hear you there.
And they gain that pretty quick after that, because what is it? Is it more in 6 or more in 7 where you can definitely start to see the fact that they're well, we should have some funny moments here.
So
Not
6
7. Not 7.
Not 7?
No, 7 doesn't try to go funny. If you're laughing during 7, I don't think 7's
Maybe it's
trying to
just
be
in
silly.
6.
Watch 6. 6 is almost like a great film, and that's the first 6 marks Jason as a zombie for the first
Mhm.
time. He comes back to
Yes.
life as
Mhm.
a Frankenstein-esque zombie
Mhm.
type
Yeah.
monster. The filmmaker wanted to shoot it in black and white, and he wanted to make sort of
Really? That would've been cool.
but not like prestige art house like
No.
Universal
Yeah, no, still.
Monsters. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Fun,
That sounds really fun.
there is a quality to it that kind of has like a Monster Squad type of
Mhm.
vibe to it, but it
Yeah.
doesn't. And it's the first and only, I think, Friday the 13th that actually has campers at the camp.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know, that's always
Yeah.
it's always so funny to me. These
Yeah.
first so many films don't have any of that.
Yeah, I mean, this one doesn't even have a camp.
No, it's just visiting
necessarily.
at home. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like across the lake from
Mhm.
the. We'll get into the lake. We'll get into the lake in a minute. So Chris, would you want to see do you think they'll finally make a 13th Friday the 13th film? And in your opinion, would it be the 13th Friday the 13th film?
Oh, I don't have the standards that you guys have on what is and
Okay.
is not a Friday the 13th film. If it's got a Jason in it, sure, it's part of it. I think it's fine.
Nope.
So I guess according to you, the first Friday the 13th isn't a Friday the 13th film because he's not in it.
At all.
But I mean, they will eventually. They have to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's money to be had. I mean, there's legal stuff that
So
they're going
much
to hash
money.
out. I mean, they're about to do that prequel series on Peacock that
Well, they
supposedly is going to
made a
happen.
liar out of Mickey. They made a liar because our previous staff meeting episode, Mickey's like it's in development. They got Crystal Lake, A24, Peacock, and it's like apparently it got delayed and it's still not out as of
Indefinite.
now.
No, because nobody's willing to give up the rights. It's like there's just too much bullshit around it.
But to be honest with you,
Oh, I
don't
thought they
think we-
ran off the showrunner is what happened. That just happened
That's
like a
what it
month
was?
ago. Yeah, the showrunner was the guy, like he's a pretty prominent showrunner, like Brian Fuller.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got ran off by A24. And it was like, oh, they decided because of creative differences. And then everyone was like, no, he's got a history of sexual harassment issues.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, that just happened like a
That's
month ago. So
unfortunate.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I will say this. I don't think we need a series.
No, a prequel series thing.
Keep it to 90 minutes or less. I want a movie. I could be a prequel. If you listen to previous episodes, Mickey and I have had our pitches. Mickey, what's up, buddy?
I think I think both of you are wrong on so many levels.
Now we're talking about life here. This has nothing to do about the podcast or what Okay, good.
I think if you hand this series to somebody like we talk about is it 1984 or 85?
The American Horror Story did
American Horror Story,
a camp horror
thing.
I
think
there
could be a very fun thing with Jason in that scenario where you're doing like a series that's like really camp, really fun, really like having fun with all the tropes. I think that's where you almost have to go with it. Unless you're going to turn this franchise over to some kind of like really interesting, like Ty West kind of director who's going to do something bold with the story in a film. Because I think otherwise you run into the situation Texas Chainsaw Massacre had in the last couple of years where they did do a 90-minute, just like we're going to do a modern slasher with it. And it kind of feels a little bit like the production value looks too good for what it is. And the story is too underdeveloped for what it is. And I think that there could be something really fun that we could do with the series that would take this thing in a different direction that could pay homage to the people who love these films while also the people who think these films are a little like they want more of that camp like Chris wants. They can really heighten that and make it really like a fun series to watch. I'll go back to Scream Queens, other things like that where they're really taking like the killer or the final girl aspect or the prom queen and stuff like that. They really are leaning into that and making fun of it, but in a way where it's not like insulting the fans. It's kind of like paying service to the fans.
Now, Chris, I don't know if you thought about this, but do you have a pitch for your Friday the 13th film?
I don't really have a pitch necessarily. I think, because actually, I can't remember how you actually wrote the question to me because you sent me a questionnaire of things to think about.
Yes,
but it was like kind of like I think your question actually was, what would you like to see in a Friday the 13th film?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so what would you want? What would you want your Friday the 13th movie to be?
I'll say this: it's not Friday the 13th, but I think, and I haven't seen it yet, but I think, and I will this weekend. And I can't wait to just spoil the shit out of it to Michelangelo. In a Violent Nature might be it. Like I like that idea.
Oh yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing it because I think it might like scratch that itch of what I would probably want to see out of a Friday the 13th film, even though it's not a Friday the 13th film.
Right.
So
I can't wait to see it as well. And like I think it like one of if you go back and listen, like I love the idea of like an auteur making a film loosely around the concept and like not having a lot of money to do it and keeping it short
and not being married to like rules and conceps.
Yeah. I think we talked about like a A24
surprising
reimagining.
Yes, we get it, you asshole. Who invited this fucker down here? You're not part of the club. I don't care if you get every answer right. You
did not make. You're out. So your top 3, Mickey, what would they be? And we'll see if they line up with my top 3.
You know that I have a deep love for Tina and Lar Park Lincoln's
Yes.
character that she plays in part 7. So part 7, The New Blood, is number 1 for Mickey. Oh yeah,
Wow.
Carrie versus Jason, the ultimate standoff. All right, number 2 is F13 part 1, the original. Give me Pamela Voorhees, recapitated, not decapitated. F13 part 4, the final chapter. That is my number 3. Corey Feldman, Tommy Jarvis, standing up to the man.
My top 3 is going to start with part 4, the final chapter, 1984, in the Paramount run. Then my number 2 is going to be part 2. I love part 2. Ginny is my favorite final girl in the series. I also think it's the most interesting take on Jason as a whole. And then my number 3 is the original Friday the 13th, 1980. And I will say, this always makes me kind of laugh, but out of 1 through 12, Mickey's number 1 ranks 9 for me.
Yeah.
And mind you, this is all a slice of pizza, baby. I'll take them all.
We're simpatico on 1, 4, 2, 3. It's like we're right there. It just, for me, part 7 hit me at the right place at the right time during whether it was a sexual awakening, whether it was a love of like watching strong women stand up to, really cruel men. I mean, obviously these guys don't adhere to that at all. That doesn't appeal to them, but it does to me. It's something that part 7 is badass. Go watch it. You're going to be surprised how much you like it, especially if it's a rewatch and you watched it when you were younger.
Now,
Which
Mickey,
I think I need to do on some of those, like especially in that era. I feel like that range.
Yeah.
I need to
I
revisit.
think we have
Entrance
a
of
project.
Entrance of Kane Hodder, entrance of one of the best kills ever in the sleeping bag.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the sleeping bag. And then also again,
I love the sleeping bag verse.
like instead of a final girl that was running the whole time, a final girl who starts to use her power to fight back.
But why?
It's pretty awesome. The last like 20 minutes of that movie is awesome, minus the conclusion, in my opinion.
No, I agree with that. That's the one little fault of it. Yeah, that's
and
faulty.
by the way, spoilers for all the Friday the 13th films.
Yeah, F13 is getting spoiled all the way.
Yeah. Now, Mickey, you consider 1 through 8 to be
the true F13s.
The true F13. So once New Line hops on with Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, and Freddy vs. Jason, you don't consider those canon within
the 2009 reboot I consider canon because it's a Friday 13th. But anything that's a Jason title, I think, falls outside of Friday 13th franchise and enters into the Jason films. So I guess what I'm trying to say to you is that if you're trying to get the 13th film of the Friday 13th, you can't include Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, or Jason Goes to Hell.
So you have 5 more films you need to make.
Yes,
it's
through Paramount.
Side stories.
Well, but that's if we're not considering the reboot Friday 13th as part
that doesn't count, obviously, because it's just a rehash of 1 through 4. Essentially, it doesn't really bring any new ideas to the franchise. Although I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it.
I remember liking it.
It's exactly what you want it to be. You know what I mean?
Actually, that is fair. That actually does. Yeah, what you're saying earlier about scratching. Yeah, I feel like that one does. The reboot actually works really well.
While at the same time kind of being disappointing because it doesn't really bring anything new, but it gives it did surprise me how poorly it did and how it kind of killed like any future
momentum
projects for a while. But like I thought it was like it had a great cast of really talented people.
Yeah, Jared Padalecki's great.
You know, it looked good. It looked like a film. A lot of my complaints nowadays is that films don't look like films.
Was that one of the? Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that one of the Bruckheimer redos or no?
That was the Platinum Dunes, I believe.
Platinum Dunes. Yeah, they're trying to redo.
It was a co-production of Paramount, New Line, Platinum Dunes, and Warner Brothers.
Okay.
So really got the they were following the Michael Bay sort of reboot of Texas Chainsaw
TCM,
sort of thing that they were doing for a while, and I think it finally died out with Nightmare on Elm Street. It was that was pretty bad.
Yeah,
Jessica Biel's TCM is pretty good.
Oh,
I feel like
I mean,
yeah, it's good.
She's great. She's great.
Oh,
She's great.
She's
I'll watch her
great.
do anything.
Yeah, she's great.
Why do you guys change your voice tones there? That's creepy.
No,
So good.
No,
She
we don't know.
really takes
No,
up the
I know.
screen.
No, I don't know what you're
And
talking
my
about.
mind.
I also feel the same way about Arlie Hammer. He was really good in that too.
Did you
Yeah.
guys have you guys seen any of the Friday the 13th or Jason films in the theater?
Yeah.
I saw 2009 was
I saw
the
2009.
only one I've seen, and I would like tonight's film that we're talking about. I would love to see it in 3D in the theater. That would be so much fun.
So nice. So nice.
Fucking
No,
Chris,
I like
you know,
how
really
Chris is just
asshole.
like Chris just laughing. He's just laughing in the
Really
corner,
feel
like
that pot roast coming towards you as they lift the arms towards the screen. Ooh.
Yeah. No, I mean, but hey, when Ali punches out that window, come on, man, that'd be like, come on, oh, you'd be like feeling that.
He's good.
Yeah, but that's for
Fighter
other
game
reasons.
makes no
that Chris
fucking
would be-
sense. But
That'd be for other
it's good.
reasons that Chris would be scared.
Yeah, that's that Wisconsin in him. He's like, I've never seen anything like this.
No, it's like,
Who
oh, God.
acts this way? Who
I
acts
set
this
that
way?
theater
It
on
is-
fire.
Why are we talking about Friday the 13th Part 3 tonight?
I mean, for obvious reasons. This was like I've said this before. This is the Apple iPod Touch of the F13 franchise. This is the moment where it changed. Well, this is what it is. It's the moment where it changed everything. You introduce so many things in this particular film that become the iconic part of this franchise. It's the iPod Touch of the F13 series.
I really would like Mickey to break down horror films related to
Apple products.
homewares.
Yeah, well, no, but Michelangelo would agree that he considers the director like the Steve Jobs of movies.
Exorcist 3, that's
Steve
like
Miner.
your KitchenAid mixer of
Yeah,
your kitchen.
he loves
What?
you love Soul Man.
Soul
See
Man is
Thomas
my
Howell's
favorite
my
Steve
hero.
Miner
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, directed his favorite actor in Forever Young.
Yeah, Mel Gibson. I was gonna make all these jokes about Chris, and you're beating me to the punch. Also, I did lob this up for someone to go, well, Michelangelo, you picked a film, so why don't you tell us why we're talking about the movie? But
Well, I'm confused. I would have
Please.
sworn. No, actually, that brings up something. I would have sworn that you said something about this being your favorite, and that's why we were talking about. But then it wasn't on your list.
No, it's not. So part 3 is not my favorite, but it is number 4 on my list.
Oh, okay.
It's number 4,
Okay.
which I think is a good place to be on the list. F13 as a whole for me was sort of my gateway into like harder horror. Outside of like Monster Squad and Hocus Pocus, if you're a constant listener of the podcast, you'll know that I shied away from the horror films as a kid. And it was when I met Mickey when I was 18, we were going to acting school, and he shepherded doing like a marathon of the Friday the 13th films, I think in October,
Yeah.
in a like this big empty room in our housing, which used to be a halfway house in New York. That's referenced in Catcher in the Rye. And at that age, it was just like I was in New York, I was young, and I was like a sponge absorbing everything. And Friday the 13th kind of got lumped in with like Arthur Miller, Kushner, and Rebeck. You know what I mean? It's just like it's Shakespeare.
Yeah,
It's just like
you know, it's
made
like,
its way
yeah,
in
you
there.
got Chekhov, you got Sean Cunningham, you got
Yeah, exactly. So this and like the communal aspect of like being in this big empty room with a bunch of friends hanging out, like eating cereal, pissing in milk jugs, empty milk jugs, like
we
laying
all
on
do,
bare
like we all
mattresses,
do.
watching them on VHS. It just embodied this sort of like that, and I talk about it a lot on the podcast. This sort of like Friday, Saturday night feeling of like hanging out with your friends, eating pizza, like having a good time, watching a scary movie. The Friday the 13th films end up representing sort of like that fun sort of thing. And when summer rolls around, I gotta watch some Friday the 13th films. And this one, to me, kind of, you know, to piggyback off what you were saying, Mickey, it sort of like embodies like part 2 and part 3 kind of lay the groundwork for where part 4 goes. and like, you know, you get the mask, you get the, you know, we're gonna introduce these characters and they're all gonna die, and like, you know, it's just a fun time. You don't take it too seriously. It looks good. And I love Richard Broker's performance as Jason. He was in Deathstalker 2, or no, Deathstalker, the first one, Deathstalker. He like ran away from the circus as a kid, and there are I'm gonna probably put them up in the video here, but there are tons of photos of him like reading Fangoria magazine and smoking a pipe and being shirtless. He was just like this like muscular trapeze artist British guy who actually saved Adrian King from being roofied at a bar at a one night during their like rounds of conventions. There's a whole documentary about basically him in the third film, but you can check it out. But Richard Broker, he like developed a piece of audio equipment and won an Emmy for it, and it's like in all the cell phones, and like had a patent for it. He directed and produced a bunch of Bill Nye the Science Guy episodes. He was a Renaissance man, Richard Broker, and I kind of like his sort of Jason's performance in this of like he's kind of like lackadaisical, and like it's like he gets his fill once he murders someone, and then he's kind of just like aimlessly walking to the next thing, whatever it might be, if he's not engaged. And then that the last little section, truly terrifying to me. I think it's like a good like 5 minutes of like when Chris wakes up, but we'll get to that. What was Mickey? What was your like history with part 3, if you even remember the first time you saw it?
I don't remember exactly when I first saw it, but I do know that we've had this conversation before. And like Jason Takes Manhattan, and like those were like when I was like of age coming about it, and that introduced me to it. And then I had to go rewatch all the originals. And part 3 was the one that it's not in my top. It's in my top 5. It's not in my top 3. But what part 3 does for the franchise is it introduces the mask. It introduces just a lot of elements that become kind of what Friday the 13th film is. So it's probably the one I've watched the most. And as a kid growing up, I feel like I was a little bit of a Shelly as far as like being somebody who
Oh,
would.
no, you weren't. No, you weren't.
Oh,
no, you weren't. You
man.
weren't a fucking piece of shit, toxic male scumbag. Okay, Mickey, don't do that. You do this to yourself. I often find myself rescuing you from saying that you're like a character when you're not. Shelly sucks, dude.
I don't agree. Sucks. I'm like I can self-reflect and be like,
calls
you know
Vera
what?
a bitch because she's cool. She's being amazing with him.
I
And
know.
patient.
I'm not saying that I called a bunch of girls bitches, but I was like the annoying guy that thought he was like really being funny with scary masks and trying to like scare people, and it's like it probably was annoying. And that's kind of who I was. I'm not saying I was exactly Shelly and I'm gonna do all the shitty movie things they write for Shelly, but I identify with somebody who was like somebody who thought that he was being funny by scaring people that probably didn't want to be fucked with.
But Mickey, you have two things Shelly doesn't have.
Fangoria
is
magazines. I had all the Fangoria magazines, and all the stuff that Shelly would have had, they brought with them. But the difference is that no, I wasn't
You're
like
attractive and charismatic.
and I wasn't, yeah, and I didn't go around calling everybody a bitch that didn't like me. It's like I was self-aware, right? It's the reason why I can say I understand where he was like Shelly would not ever say he's a Shelly.
No self-awareness.
Shelly has no self-awareness.
When Mickey and I were in acting school, we both had girlfriends, and we made a promise, like girlfriends back home, and we made a promise to look out for each other, make sure we didn't like cheat. And like it was a problem for Mickey because Mickey was like a fucking Harry Connick Jr. Latin James Dean, fucking playing the guitar, smoking cigarettes. He's hilarious. Like, yeah, a little too far with the practical jokes sometimes. I appreciated it.
For
though.
sure.
But you know, you're not a Shelly, but I can appreciate. You're more of a Tommy, if anything, man. You know what I mean?
More of a Tommy Jarvis.
Yeah, baby. Well, you know, he likes the monster magazines and he likes the horror stuff. And
but-
like, you know, they're fun. The practical jokes are fun, not misguided.
Only part 4. You're not saying I'm Tommy in part 6.
Oh, you're as attractive. You're a slice of sexy
Okay.
male hunk meat.
Yeah.
Like
Nobody wants to
Tommy
be
in part
Tommy in
6.
part 5. Nobody wants to be Tommy part 5.
He's
but
jacked though. Tommy part
yeah,
5 is jacked.
he
He's got
is.
some
He is.
shirtless scenes. He's ripped.
He's shredded. He's
He's
shredded. Yeah.
ripped.
Yeah.
Okay, but I love how like you say you're like a character that's shitty. I defend you and you get mad at me.
I'm not mad at you for saying no. I'm just saying that I'm not looking at myself in the worst parts of Shelly. I'm saying in the sense of like, yes, he was a nerd who's into horror stuff. So was I. And when I watched this for the first time early on, I was like, oh, Shelly seems really cool. And then yes, there are problems with Shelly. Obviously, as you mature and as you wisen up, nobody's gonna sit there and defend Shelly. But no, but as a kid, it was like this is like, oh, he's got the masks, he's got the cool outfits, he loves horror, and that's kind of how I was.
In the woods, hunting vampires with your
Yeah.
dog, your personal Nanook.
Yeah.
Listen to
Like
the Lost Boys episode.
not the one who was like all jazzed to like smoke out the van. I'm more the one that's like, I want to go inside and get like a cool like magazine, and then I want to like I just like I said, I'm not obviously there are problems with Shelly, but I can identify with that character regardless.
Chris, do you care to ridicule him the way you
About
ridicule
what?
me when I identify with a problematic character?
Well,
What if
it's
I
different because I'm not
ridicule you for-
identifying. I don't identify with him the way you identify with Martin. I identify
hey,
with
hey,
him
hey,
the way
hey,
the way he
Go
likes
watch
horror
the Martin
films and is
episode.
nerdy. And he's
Go watch the
nerdy.
Martin episode. It's up by now.
I mean,
Chris,
yeah, you don't want to identify with the worst character of the movie, though. That's definitely a good
well, is he the worst or is fucking scumbag Rick the worst? We'll get into
Yeah.
that. We'll get into that. But so
You
Chris,
think Rick's the worst?
I think Rick. I mean,
I
outside
mean,
of
arguably
who's
Jason's the
murdering
worst.
everyone.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah,
I mean
that's
that's Jason's the worst.
What was we kind of went with your history a little bit, so I don't think you have like a specific part 3 history. So what was your experience like watching it this time?
Oh, I mean, it's definitely it's weird. This is such a I forget how weird a film this is.
It is when you don't have the 3D
It
aspect.
is so well. That's a whole nother thing, and it's like almost, especially, I feel like seeing so much parody and satire of this era of like
Mhm.
making 3D films and seeing
Yeah.
like SNL or SC, all the old comedy shows making fun of
Mhm.
it, which really is identifiable in a watch of this. So I mean, like half of the 3D stuff coming at you is so silly looking, but no, just like the whole, like, I guess, and I know that this is a big debate thing, but the whole, like, I guess they're hinting at sexual assault
Yeah.
between Jason
with
and
Chris.
yeah,
Chris.
but then like it's so weird. Like, why would that happen? Like, that's so
Yeah.
untrue of the character.
That's a
And
writer
I think
came
that was a
in and
shortcut.
wanted well, a writer came in, wanted to like heighten the stakes of things, and interestingly enough, the actress who plays Chris, Dana Kimmel, she was like, she made them. It's amazing she had the power to do this. She was like, "No, I'm not getting raped by Jason."
Mhm.
good
Not,
for
not
her.
and,
It's
well,
weird.
it is weird, and I don't think it's the like you definitely like Jason as this sort of asexual
Yeah.
avenger of his mother.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just so Chris. It's such a weird and like Rick's reaction to her telling him this is very
Strange,
weird because he's
too.
just
Mhm.
fucking. He just wants to
The-
get laid.
Yep. I forgot about the like clear rip-off Cheech and Chong characters.
Yep.
Yeah. Smoking out the
The-
van.
The fact that just like
More Chong, right? Cheech isn't really represented within the Chili and Chuck
Yeah.
dynamic. Chuck just looks like
I mean, they're doing the
Chong.
same level of effort. You know what I mean? Like, I think that like not same as Cheech and Chong. I'm saying they're trying to do a level of effort that's not surprising. Of like, they see those characters and they're like, oh,
Mhm.
we'll just do a stereotype of it. Like, that's the kind of
Yeah,
level
man.
of intelligence.
Yeah,
and there's
man.
no
Yeah.
attempt at like, mimicking or satirizing or doing anything. Just like
Yeah.
straight
It's
try
just
to
there.
copycat, and it's there, and then
Yeah.
nothing beyond it. You know what I mean? Like, even to like, I forgot what's her name
A
being like
caricature.
Yeah, kinda. I don't even. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I think caricature might even be too strong a credit to the.
Yeah.
The whole even what's her name being pregnant, like that whole thing thrown in there.
Debbie.
It's
being
just there's
pregnant.
so
Debbie.
much weird stuff in this film,
Yeah.
man.
It's like some of them good ideas, not quite
If
fleshed
you would
out.
explore it and maybe make it into somewhat of
Yeah.
a plot, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no attempt. Why the gang? Why the gang too? Why is there a gang
I have a
in the
theory.
middle of this spot in this place?
I have a
The
theory.
gang makes sense. Okay, go ahead.
Not for this place.
Not for
Those
this
people-
place. And the way. Okay, so here's my.
Look,
can I
they're
give you my
bikers.
theory
They're on the open
biker
road. They're
gang?
trying to earn more patches. Fox is arguably the best actress in the whole film.
Well,
But,
no, that is fair. That's true. I would agree with that.
Go ahead.
So this is the lamest biker gang of all time.
Oh, incredibly.
You would think based off of what they did that they would bare minimum rob the cabin and steal the van, not
Right?
just siphon the gas to get
Yeah,
even. It
why?
makes no
After everything that
sense.
just happened,
So
Yeah.
my theory is
they real quick, they start at the most extreme, and then through the course of their existence, they just get more weaker.
More
Oh, yeah.
mild, yeah, weaker. It's a
Why?
gang, yeah.
It's reverse of how it should be.
Okay, so here's my theory that sort of explains this. Is
Go on.
that Ali, Fox,
Yeah.
and Loco are
Yeah.
are local community theater actors who have been
yes.
cast as bikers
As bikers, yeah.
in either a independent film or a local production of something.
Yeah.
And they because they're so misguided in how bikers should be. In the first scene, kind of you get it, right? They're dangerous and everything makes sense, but everything they do after that makes no sense. And also, they all have different symbols on the back of their vests or jacket, which is you have the same symbol because you're in a gang together,
Yeah.
And it's just okay, we're gonna get even with these guys by siphoning their
gas and making sure we're not seen.
I have an alternative theory because of the year. Okay, because the year is 1982, correct?
Yes.
So this was the year of the music video "Beat It," and I predict, or no, sorry, not the music video, but definitely the song "Beat It" came out in 1982. So my prediction is that they were coming back from an audition for the "Beat It" music video, and on their way back, they had to stop for gas, and they just happened to still be in their "Beat It" outfits.
So similar to my.
The difference is that you
It's
think
not
that they were
completely
no, but mine's an audition for the "Beat It" song.
Mickey's has Michael Jackson in it. Yours doesn't.
Yep. Yeah, and
Well,
mine
I think it's
also
the same in that
explains the
they're
outfits a little bit
misguided
better.
Actors. They're just actors. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Which
mine
explains why they're
explains
so
the
lame.
outfit a little bit better because I think that if you're in the regional theater doing a gang, that's not how you're
Well,
going.
I said they're doing an independent film or something, and they're doing research.
Got
is
it.
my thing, and they're oh, we gotta steal their gas to get even.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's such a lame, it's that's not gonna cover the cost of repairing your motorcycle.
yeah.
Well, how badly damaged was the motorcycle?
Shelly runs over
the wheel.
front of
Yeah,
a
but
It's
motorcycle.
completely destroys
That's
that
an
wheel
old
well.
bug. That thing weighs 50 pounds.
No, you see it that'll
He
at
ruins
minimum
he ruins Ollie's bike.
at minimum that's front tire replacement, and probably you're gonna need to replace the fork that holds the tire. It's probably bent just enough.
Classic broken fork.
So when I lived in Chicago, I rode my bike everywhere, and I got hit by a priest. And when he hit
bicycle, not motorbike, to clarify.
Let's make it very clear.
You
Bicycle.
had a yellow banana seat and pom-poms on either door.
And it was actually a tricycle. It was actually a tricycle. Let's be honest.
It was a tricycle. I didn't want to lose my balance, and I got hit by a car, and it turned out it was a priest, and I had to calm him down. And then I was like, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. And then a week later, my tire blew out, and I discovered that the priest had bent the frame just slightly enough to where the tire was rubbing up against the frame, and eventually the tire blew out, and I needed to replace it. So it's you're right. the bug doesn't weigh a lot, but like I imagine, like especially back then, I mean, you're looking at I don't know, at least a few $100s worth of
Yeah.
repairs.
But a few $100
Minimum?
compared to a few $100 worth of windshields.
Yeah, two
So, I
windshield and
mean,
driver's
it's
side.
like it
It's a
feels like
lot.
there's a bit of a trade-off there.
Nah, I think if you're a biker, you're robbing them. That's all. You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're part of the 3-person inner race gender coalition motorcycle gang that's in the
I
rural
again,
section.
again, I
Again,
say these are
actors.
these are people driving to Chicago from New York City after auditioning for Beat It,
Mhm.
and they stop off for some gas.
And they didn't make the cut. They were too
Yeah,
nice.
they're mad.
Beat It. Would it surprise you guys to know that this movie is the most profitable Friday the
I re
13th in the franchise,
Yeah.
and that it dethroned E.T.
Yeah.
as the number one
Yeah,
movie
number
in
one
America?
movie. Yeah,
I
it does not
also
surprise me.
there's quite the list of, like, horror films that came out that year too. Like, and
Oh,
it was
82 was a big year,
yeah,
yeah.
so it's just crazy to think, like, it was the most profitable in that regard too, probably as vice versa, all these amazing films from
When
that
did
year.
The Thing come out?
It's that year.
It's
Mhm.
that year? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, The Thing came out that year.
Yeah,
Because
it's like
E.T. trounced it, yeah, you know, in effect. That's the
Well,
old
who wants
explanation.
a creepy alien when you get a nice
Yeah,
one?
it's the
You know,
old-
it really hurts. it,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, fuck these aliens. There's a guy in a hockey mask killing teenagers. Let's
But
That's
the hockey
where
mask is a brilliant thing to introduce to the franchise, because all of a
it
sudden he
works
goes,
so well.
it works
Mm.
so well, and it becomes so easily available to other people to scare each other's friends. You know, and it's like that's one of the things where I talk about it being the iPod Touch. It's that it wasn't that it become no, hear me out. It wasn't that it was like 'cause I actually
It's
don't think the
funny. I
iPod
know.
Touch. I don't think the iPod Touch is that groundbreaking in many ways, right? We were
So- I
going
never
to a smart
owned one.
computer, a handheld.
Which one's the Nano?
It's not the Nano. It's the
Part
iPod
five.
Touch, which becomes the
Part 5
iPhone.
is the Nano.
Part
Oh, no,
five is
Jason
the
Fix Manhattan is the Nano.
The Nano. Yeah. Good call. Good call. But they all of a sudden took a franchise that did look similar to like a Madman or a Burning or many other copycats and said, no, here's our staple look, here's our staple thing. You can all participate in this. It's easy, low-hanging fruit to go buy one of these masks. And it was like done. It really is the mask that's kept the thing going for as long as it has. It's it's what makes it last longer than many other great horror films that could have been franchises.
I 100% agree with you, but at the same time too, I much prefer a sack over the head with an eye hole because it is
It's-
hilarious looking.
It's not only it's hilarious, but at the same time terrifying. I think. Like, the first time I did shrooms was with Chris, and his roommate had just purchased a sack mask.
Yeah.
Very
remember
similar to Jason in part 2. And I'm like peeking on mushrooms, and we come inside. We were outside. I was fine when I was outside, but we come inside. I'm like, if we go inside, it's gonna turn on me, and it did. And his roommate, I remember his roommate sitting on the couch with the sack on his head, and like, I'm like, hey man, like, take that off. Like, I know you're messing with me right now, but it's working, and please take it off.
Yeah, I remember that. I thought about that too. Mickey, you might get a kick out of this. Then we were walking around a neighborhood, and I was living near the school that was like next to some woods.
Yeah.
And Michelangelo, high on mushrooms, went like running into the woods. And like
Shirtless.
I'm walking across, shirtless, and I'm walking like across this like back of this like park, and there's this like young couple that's like, I don't know, they're like 16-year-olds or 17, teenagers.
Yeah.
We're in our, I don't know, early 20s or whatever. And Michelangelo just comes running out of the woods, full sprint, shirtless, and this couple just books it. It's like from a horror movie, just oh shit, something bad's gonna happen here.
I remember the look on their faces, these poor kids. It was like at a dead man walking, you know what I mean? It was like, so Chris, you were saying Harold, he's eating the peanuts, he's drinking the Sunny D.
What the hell kind of
eating
store
fish
is
food.
this?
Tasting the fish
What
food.
the fuck is this guy's problem? He ate peanuts. He ate a chocolate donut. He opened up the Sunny D, the unlabeled Sunny D.
He ate the fish food. He's on a diet.
Yeah.
That's what you do when you're on a diet.
And then he gets the literal shit scared out of him.
Yeah. Oh, and those shit noises were so very aggressive.
Shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean
And
that
he's
was
got a
like
bottle
full
of Jack
blown
Daniels.
diarrhea. Yeah, I know. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's just like the
Like-
sound design on the diarrhea was. It's like I feel like it was in like a comedy or something. You know, it was like they really wanted you to feel the. Yeah.
Very
By
Jeff
the-
Daniels, Dumb and Dumber style
Yeah.
diarrhea
Dumb and
sounds.
Dumber,
Yeah.
Bridesmaids. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's 16 minutes into the movie, we finally are introduced to some of our characters, right? We get introduced to Chris, Andy, Debbie, Shelly. We meet Vera and her disapproving mother, Mrs. Sanchez. I love Vera.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Vera's
great in
fantastic.
this.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I really I love Chris in this. I think
Vera should have been the final girl.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
got the
Yeah.
she has a lot of qualities. It's like they should have combined Chris and Vera into one character, in my opinion, because Rick fucking sucks. And the fact
Yeah,
that
he's not
Chris
good.
likes Rick is I think, very realistic. Because it's like the girl you like,
Yeah.
who tends to like a douchebag. Rick fucking I was so happy to see Rick's fucking head get squeezed into oblivion by Jason.
That
Like
little
Jason
eyeball
is a
pop
nicer
out.
guy than Rick in this. Rick sucks, right? And of course, I don't mean anything against Paul,
Yeah,
the
sure.
actor who
Not the
plays
actor.
Rick. This all pertains to the characters.
Well, why are you so? Why do you think he's the worst? Let's say the worst male character in the film.
He's in Running with Shelly, but Rick is just like, hey, like he's kind of doing this thing, and I'm sure it's meant to be like charming and jokey, but like, hey, I could be with this one chick, but I decided to be with you.
Yeah,
and I
tell
want
you,
to
I
fuck.
came here to be with
I
you,
wanna
even though you're
fuck
going
for-
through trauma. You're
Yeah,
going through trauma.
Well,
but
he
I'm
doesn't know this
here.
yet, right?
Yeah,
he
he
doesn't
doesn't
know
know
this
that,
yet,
yeah.
right? So he's like,
she
hey, I
mentions
want to.
it. Yeah.
Well, I want to fuck for an hour in the morning, and I want to fuck for 2 hours at night, right? And then she takes him away, and she tells him, "Hey, I think I got raped. I don't know what happened, but like something awful happened." And he's still like, he doesn't ask any
No.
follow-up questions that would make
That's
sense.
the big
Like,
thing. There's no follow up to that. The incredibly unusual story.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
like,
so
well, wait,
confusing.
whoa. You'd be like, whoa, wait a second. You just woke up in your bed, so
Yeah,
like,
and-
he doesn't
and-
even ask. So, do you think it was all a dream?
And your mom hit you, which spurned your runaway. You were accosted by a very strange looking person. Then you woke up in your bed, and then she says something like, "And my parents would never talk to me about it again." Why would her parents have anything like how would they be knowledgeable on any of this?
Yeah.
Like what is being said here exactly?
Yeah.
At that
It is-
point,
So odd.
don't you think you'd be like, okay, so something really bad happened to her, whether this is real or not, something awful happened to her.
In this place
And-
that we are in right now.
Yeah,
And why would she come back to it?
in Higgins Haven, right? So
Mhm.
she's come back to Higgins Haven. I always think it's fucking yours. You're dealing with rich white people when they've named the
Sounds like
place,
it. Yeah, very
right? It's not
Yeah.
just my vacation home; it has a name.
Higgins Haven.
Higgins Haven. It's just like, okay, she's come back here to face her demons. So I'm either a part of supporting this journey for her, or I come up with an excuse and go, meet up with the chick I mentioned earlier, who's like DTF, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
like fucking's off the table at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, unless I help her reach a catharsis, and then
What
she's
if-
like, then she becomes horny, and then we can have sex.
What if you use the powers of your cable knit sweater to
That's
fuck
powerful.
the fear out of her?
Okay, that's we're gonna cut that from the episode.
Problematic. That was a real okay. Yeah.
Who do you think is worse,
Thanks,
Rick
Alfred.
or Shelly?
Shelly.
Vera is so patient and so cool with him, and the
Sure.
fact
And
that
he's-
he's like, bitch. You know what he's an
Well,
incel,
and
right?
then like it's yes, and the fact that like
Well,
he's got such this like poor pitiful me bullshit. He clearly is making himself into the bad guy of the group. He has no social awareness. He has a chance with Vera if he's just a normal human being.
he does
Yeah,
not have a
he
chance
does.
with Vera. No, he
No,
does
no, no,
not.
He does.
He opens the wallet, sees a picture of him with his mom. He's like, "Oh, he's a nice, he's a nice guy."
Because she was nice once, that means he has a chance with her. I think he has a chance to be friends with her. No, Vera is so far out of his league that none of those friends should have thought that there was anything that was going to happen with that particular setup. And honestly, Shelly should have known better too, but he was probably brought up by guys like Rick were like, yeah, you're one of the pros, you can get it, you can nail it. I actually think that Shelly's a little bit of a victim of
This
circumstances,
sounds like a
and the people
real Shelly.
Shelly's a victim. Oh boy.
Oh,
boy.
I think that Shelly's a
boy.
victim of toxic masculinity and the boys that are around him that have not straightened him out and been like, Shelly, you are not one of us. You
they
do
need
not.
they need to beat him to beat toxic masculinity.
No, what they need to explain to him is that toxic masculinity works when you're devilishly good looking and girls for some reason throw themselves at you still. And no, Shelly, you cannot be that behavior and still expect the same things from these females. And I'm being very 1982 about this. I realize that today
Yes, you are.
these things
are.
but seriously, in 1982, it is a trope in these films that those guys get the girls. I don't know what it is about them, but assholes get pretty girls.
Good-looking people get away with shit. Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Like I've seen guys who look like Shelly, like who have charisma, like get attractive women.
Oh yeah,
Jonah Hill.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like
There's a lot of ugly men with very beautiful women in this
Yeah.
I
world.
won't say
Rogen.
ugly,
I'm
but
kidding.
not
No, I'm
There is a
kidding.
lot of
non-conventional
butt
attractive
fugly
people.
men with these very beautiful women out there.
I'm not saying that. But like I think if you're funny, you have the charisma, but here's an important thing is like the guys who look like Shelly, right? They have to be funny, they have to be charming, and they gotta like hang dong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
they
you
gotta have more.
gotta, like,
It's not just Riz. They gotta have the biz.
Yeah.
Not just Riz. They've got to have the biz.
I don't even know what I'm laughing at, really.
I don't either.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we agree with you. We're saying like, you can't just be like, yeah.
Yeah.
So if Shelly hangs dong, if he not only has the Riz but the biz, like, and he just like, hey, you know what? I fucking fucked with these bikers. I got a Velcro wallet,
A sweet Velcro wallet. Picture of my mother.
That's enough to like. I don't know about this guy. He's got a Velcro wallet.
Yeah. And jumping out in like a diving suit with the ski mask. Like,
yeah, that's right. He brought a diving suit. Also, too, though, Vera's wearing two tones of red in her pants.
Oh, she looks
sweater.
Great. Fuck you. She looks great.
You're colorblind. You don't even know what you're
Wait a second.
See what's happening.
Are you saying that Vera's choice of wardrobe is as bad as Shelly's?
No, but it's pretty clashy.
I think it's great.
Chris's claws are coming out on this one, guys.
Oh man, yeah. Fashion corner with Chris.
Tag and Vera. Well, let's go ahead. Please explain to us, RuPaul. What is wrong with the outfit?
It's two of the same color. Slight tone of difference.
Wow.
I guess you didn't appreciate the red tone in her like wedged sandals she was wearing either. So
I did not look at her feet. I'm so sorry.
I was looking.
You were glued to it. He was glued to it. He didn't even notice the other tones. He's only looking at the feet.
With the hammocks. By the way, okay, so hammocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you be at that age, not the age you're now, but like in your 20s, you go to the cabin and like, oh yeah, you're sleeping in a hammock. Do you go,
I would be pretty pissed.
okay, yeah, okay, Mickey?
I don't know. I don't mind a hammock.
I
I
don't
don't
mind a
want a
hammock
hammock
either.
for a nap, but for like sleeping a whole night, I don't know, man.
I don't know
I
either.
I don't. I wouldn't mind it. I mean, a good, comfortable hammock. It's not bad.
I got a buddy when I was living in Chicago. I like went over to a house party and and like there was a hammock in the corner of the living room.
Mhm.
And I was like, what's that? And I was like, oh, that's blah blah blah's bedroom. And I was like, what? He like, I don't know how long he lived this way, but he
Mhm.
lived in the corner of the living room in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and his bed was the hammock. And I was like,
Wild.
now Mickey, as a military man, you've probably done your fair share of sleeping on the ground. Am I correct?
Sure.
On any of your training or actual work time, did you find yourself sleeping in a hammock?
In a hammock? No. I mean, a hammock is like it takes time to set up. It's kind of luxury. You've got like what is essentially a yoga mat rolled up in a little pack, and you're laying that thing down and getting into your if it's cold, you're in your mummy sack. If it's not cold, you're in your like summer little like sleeping bag, and you're in that thing, and that's it. And you might have a pup tent, but you may not even have like a cover, honestly.
Interesting. So, are you aware that like they sell for a while now? They sell like hammocks that like fit into like a
Yeah,
little
little bitty
tiny.
pouches. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to have 3 points for those. I think it's 3 points. It might be 2.
2 points.
It might
It's
be
2
2.
points.
But you're not guaranteed that if you're like, you know,
True, especially in
because
the desert.
yeah, that's a lot of what we do is desert warfare, or at least when I was active in that particular
Yeah.
thing.
I can't believe I haven't mentioned yet, but like Debbie
Yeah.
reading Fangoria magazine,
Mhm.
That's the
Who-
Pittsburgh shout out. That's the Pittsburgh shout out right there.
which by the way, Red Tower, if you go to fangoria.com and you
Hell yeah.
type in Red Tower at checkout, you get 20% off your entire purchase.
20.
20%.
20.
That's significant savings.
Yes.
How significant?
Oh. 20%.
That's pretty significant.
20%. We kind of said it, yeah.
Just in case. That's if this discount was a character in the film,
Uh-huh. Yeah. What discount?
it'd be
would it
Andy.
be?
It'd be Andy.
Aw, that's so
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
Because
about
it wants you to eat weed and drink a beer while you're pregnant?
No, because 20% of him got sliced in half.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
I see.
yeah. I like the way you said sliced. I just
Yeah,
think you say it like that's awesome,
Yeah.
dude. I love it. What do we think about Ali's triumphant return in the final act?
How the hell did that even occur? It's like he
No
was
idea.
so bludgeoned with
Yeah.
with a hatchet. It's
Yep.
like how? And he comes back. He looks pretty good when he comes back. He's like
Yeah,
very
just because, like,
virile,
a head-
ready
a-
to fight. Yeah.
Well, that's what movies is like. Movies, by the way, it's like you get stabbed, you get your head
Mhm.
trauma, you get shot, you can come back.
I didn't like Ali yelling, I need to die to protect this white woman. I thought that was really
I
That was
believe it's
bad.
Ali, but yeah.
Ali.
That was the only false statement of what you just said, Chris. Is that
That
it's
was it?
Ali?
Good.
It's Ali, not Ali. Ali.
Like OLLIE?
like Muhammad Ali.
Ali.
Yeah,
Ali.
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 Ali. Ali.
Yeah.
Ali.
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 Ali. Umbaye.
How about the fact that Chris like has like the upper body strength to like put that axe through mask and skull? I thought that was you swung an axe, right? You put an axe into
on
some
top
wood.
of hanging him, I think more impressively, she hangs him there.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
Yeah.
right before that.
I'm
I don't
saying
know
like
if that would be that hard to swing an axe into a head.
you don't think so? I feel like
I don't know.
They're kind
I
of
mean,
built for that, aren't they? If you can get it over your head,
well,
gravity does a lot of the work,
momentum,
right?
yeah.
but that wasn't like a maul. That was like just a traditional axe. I mean, you're You got to have some dry wood to split pretty easily with that axe. I think if I don't think of a skull as dry wood. I think of more like a wet wood. It's like it's a little bit more like it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be you have a hard exterior.
More
You
about
got
heads and woods and wet and
Like
dry.
like an oak, maybe that's been sitting in the rain for a day. Would you say?
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to like really like get that thing
When I-
lodged in there. I don't know.
When
I
I'm,
don't.
ha- when
Yeah,
I'm having
it's
sex
fine.
with a woman, dry wood, I cannot. It doesn't work. But wet wood,
Mhm. She also has, I mean, like, her blood would be pumping. You know what I mean? She's in a
Yeah.
You think
fight or flight.
adrenaline's kicked in,
Yeah.
and she's like, yeah,
oh, for
okay.
sure. If it's
Yeah.
not kicked in, it's like, what's going on with her?
What's wrong with her? Yeah.
fight to the death.
Okay.
And also
Okay.
too with your someone that has violated you in the past, you can get revenge on.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
say, like, is the fix for the characters in this? If you bring Vera's mom into the mix, Mrs. Sanchez, if she's at the lake,
Yeah.
she takes Jason out.
Yeah, Jason.
She's not
yeah.
done with any of this. By the
Jason.
way,
Jason doesn't make
hold on.
it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's talk about the lake.
Yeah.
Is it a lake?
Doesn't look like it. I mean, I guess
No.
it kind of does, but it'd be a pretty small lake, like a
It's
little
Yeah.
like
it's
a
a man.
neighborhood lake, as
They
opposed to
made the house, they made the lake, and they made the
Yeah.
barn.
Yeah.
They built that
Yeah.
stuff, and the lake is like, I think at its deepest is like 3 or 4 feet
Yeah.
at the center.
It's a
It doesn't
pond.
look.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like Camp Crystal Lake is across. It
No.
looks it's a swimming hole.
it's it's an HOA lake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ah, man, that's one of those things where it's like if like they had found I love the location outside of the lake because it just looks like a swimming pond. It kind of takes you out of like, I guess they're in the area where Camp Crystal Lake is, and like this is a pond. This is a separate body of water.
Yeah.
This is
It doesn't
the
share space.
Camp Crystal Lake runoff.
Yeah, they're
It's like-
in the watershed.
Mhm.
They're in the
Yeah,
they're
the
in the
watershed.
they're in the camp, but they're not on the lake.
This
that make sense?
like that last section. So when she wakes up, right? She does the
That doesn't
thing
make
that
any
Adrian
sense.
King does, where she goes out into the water. This is like
Yeah.
a thing that makes sense if you're a fan of the previous films.
I know what
right?
they're doing, but man, it's
It
forced.
does. You're right. You're right. That I'm agreeing with you.
Not enough.
But it definitely like it's laughable when she sees. First of all, when she sees him, it's fucking terrifying.
I laughed
Me.
really hard.
It's hilarious and terrifying at the same time. Like fear and laughter are closely related, and I think
Yeah.
this scene is a perfect example of that. But it's like, dude, just get out of the canoe, get wet. It's fine. You're right there. You're right by the shore.
Yeah.
Jason becomes like a excited like
Like you.
Labrador.
Like you,
Yeah.
Seeing owners
when you
come
see
into the
me.
driveway with a giant head wound, like look out the window, like, like what the fuck?
That's good. That's good. And then, do we know who plays Pamela Voorhees in this section?
No.
Rob
That'd
Lowe.
be Rob Lowe. Yes, that'd be great. Who's Daniel Craig, actually?
Oh,
Ah.
Yeah, he was
Gotta
friends
start
with
somewhere.
J.J. Abrams. Marilyn Poucher, who is the second assistant director on this.
There you go.
cool.
It's fun.
Sure.
Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for that to come. Been waiting for that to come out.
We gotta have listener. We're gonna have a lot more Molly episodes coming up.
Oh yeah.
What do we think of the ending, guys? Does the last act work for you? Does the button work for you? What do you think happens to Chris?
Oh, Chris has joined another long line of females who are now rushed to the hospital and become crazy because of the events of Camp Crystal Lake.
Jenny, she's hanging out with Jenny.
Yeah. That actually could be an interesting movie, right? Like it just takes place right prior to part 4, and it's like Jenny and Chris in a hospital. Lucy's just been killed. They're having to figure out, that could be an interesting movie. Yeah.
Well,
No,
there is just
Go
on
ahead.
that idea. Grady Hendrix wrote a book that Adrian King narrates called The Final Girl Support Group, which I have not read, but it kind of elaborates on that idea of
Oh, I love
these
that.
final girls, like what happens to them after
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
Dealing
with the aftermath of that, horrific trauma. Yeah. So yeah, that's what happens. And does the ending work for me as a Friday 13th? Yeah, it does. This is like I said, this movie's in my top 5 of the F13 series, which is better than half. So I mean, I like the film. I'm not gonna find reasons to. I nitpick a little bit about like her being able to swing the axe in his head, but that's that. Come on, man! It's Friday 13th. These are not to be
no
taken too
problems with
seriously.
Shelly,
He has
but like
no problem with anything else, but an axe swing is the one.
That's the
But a
problem.
woman can't swing an axe that hard.
How about the fact that Jason goes from just popping heads to suddenly he can't get a grip on her at all? He's fighting Chris.
He loses it. Yeah.
Hey man, she's wily. It's like the books. Literature is what destroys Jason. She knocks the books on him and it throws him off his axis.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got concussion. They just didn't know at the time.
Or that he can split Andy from like butts to nuts so easily, but like he can't hatch it into like Ali enough to actually get rid of him. It's like Ali's like still good to come back. I mean, we could nitpick it all day, but this is what is fun of the F13 series.
Jason in this film is very much I think Richard Broker is channeling like serial killers. You know what I mean? Where it's like this idea that like they have this like fury of emotion, and like they kill and then they're empty. And it's just like, let me go to the next thing. Let me find meaning. Let me find the chase. I don't know. That's what I see from Richard Broker's performance, which I love. And by the way, another image of Deathstalker right here. This is a totally non-homoerotic image from Deathstalker. It's not homoerotic at all. Pride, Jason. This is our pride. By the way, I think that this song is known as Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Because of its
Really?
because the whole homophobic movement against disco.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah, it is dumb. Like most things that are homophobic, like everything that is homophobic.
I mean, it's a great version of the song. It's fun. It's like you immediately know you're in for a fun movie.
Look, actually, real quick, that was one thing too on a rewatch. How about a little silence? Good God. Like, you don't have to have something playing as audio over every moment of this film. It's practically a musical.
They're free. I gotta say,
this is my Sound of Music.
Actually, you know what? If we're gonna make a Friday the 13th a musical, I think this is a contender.
Yeah.
Part 3? Yeah, I can see that. I could see part 7 as well.
Part 5.
Part 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Freddy versus Jason.
It is a musical with an amazing new metal score. That is
wonderful. Okay, so guys.
Yep.
Yo.
Who do you recommend this to?
Ooh.
And, whoa. Wait a second. Oh my God, I can't believe this. It's oh my god. I can't believe who just walked into the basement.
Oh, who is it?
Who's in the shadows?
Hey, how's it going, Cropsey?
Hey, guys.
Oh boy, Cropsey.
How's it going? It's
Hey.
thanks for letting me come down. It's good talking to my two pals, my two best friends.
Hey, buddy, it's good to see you. So,
Yeah. You look great, by the way.
Thank you. I've been working out on the side of the building when I eat the
I've
rats.
noticed.
I chase them like chickens from Rocky.
Yeah.
It's one of my
I love it.
favorite movies.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. One of Michelangelo's favorite too.
Eat 2 peas in a pod, you and me, buddy.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. Did you get it? I left a VHS of Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. Did you watch it?
I wasn't supposed to eat that.
You ate it? Oh my gosh, that's impressive. Good job, buddy.
I'm fucking with
Good
you guys. I watched it. What do you think I am, a
I
fucking
love
animal?
it. Your humor gets better. Your humor is getting better.
This guy. Of course I watched it. I
Hey,
mean,
what did you think of what was going on there?
that Jason, he makes some very interesting points.
Like what?
Killed the women.
Yeah. Just killing
Okay.
them? Yeah. Okay.
But what about killing the men? He also kills the men.
Also a good point.
Very
No,
So
I think
Cropsey,
that-
when I watch a film, I like to identify with some characters in the film. For me, it's
That's
part of
fucked
how
up,
I
man.
I thought maybe you'd see yourself in a
You
character.
really
Any
shouldn't do
characters?
that. That's not good for you.
Any
I mean, I'm not a
characters you
therapist,
identify
but
with?
you should really not do that.
Oh, getting advice from Cropsey. This is great.
Hey, at least it's not advice from Alfred, right?
Right. If I had to take advice from one of the other, I'd take the one who kills his family.
Ah, shit. Wait a
Hey,
second.
guys. Hey, hey,
Ah,
should I
fuck,
say my
Alfred's
name?
down here. Get the fuck out of
Oh
here, Alfred.
no, no.
Oh,
Jesus
guys.
Christ.
Did
Go
you
fuck
watch
yourself,
part
man.
3 too? Did you also watch
I-
the movie?
I was watching, yeah. It was
Oh,
Jesus.
he's always watching. Were you watching it
Oh,
while I was? Were you watching it over our shoulders?
yeah.
Did you like Shelly?
Yeah, he was really cool.
Nah, of course you thought he was
Ah,
fucking cool, you fucking sick pervert. Cropsey, I thought you were gonna fucking take care of this guy.
I keep trying. I keep cutting that guy. Nothing comes out. It's really fucking weird.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah, he's
Oh my god.
He smiles at me when I do it too.
I think he's getting off on it.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening.
I think he's not of the human form, you guys. He might be a demon.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Well,
okay.
Cropsey, thank you for coming by. Alfred, go fuck yourself. Listen to the burning episode if you want to know what we're talking about. Chris, now that they're gone.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, I had to
who-
go to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Sorry.
Who comes into the video store and you go, you should see Friday the 13th Part 3. It's a difficult one for you, I know,
Yeah.
because you're not in the ballpark of Mickey and I.
No, I mean, I think that, it's one of those films, if you want to see a prime example of the 1980s craze of trying to make a 3D film, this would be a good example of that.
This is the example. This is the
Yeah.
most profitable, successful example of that.
Yeah. And I mean, it still doesn't look good, but if you want to see what it looks like, I get that. But no, I mean, there's not a lot of people that I would probably recommend this movie to. I have to say, I'm watching it, the one thing that really kind of came through to me on a rewatch of this was like, after watching like not too long ago, like My Bloody Valentine, and how enjoyable an experience that was.
Mhm.
And to me, this was not an enjoyable experience. And like, some of those just other slashers that I think work so much better. Also, too, I kind of had the thought, I mean, like, I like series horror films. Like, I've always been a fan of Halloween and some of the Freddy's. And, but like, really, by and large, I really more prefer one-offs, I think. Where they're not like, I think when they're not being handcuffed to lore and having to like fit stuff in, like, for instance, a lot of stuff we've talked about already from this film. So I know that's kind of a convoluted answer. It doesn't really much to recommend to, but it would be a hard one for me to recommend this to anyone, I think.
No, I hear you. Then as a video store clerk, you're constantly assessing and battling with what you like what I recommend to this customer is not what I recommend to the other customer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I have a wildly different view.
Well, of course you like these films.
I'm not just even liking the films. My thing is like, if you were a fan of horror, that's of the genre, then you know there are certain iconic figures. Your Frankenstein, your Dracula,
Sure.
your Jason, your Freddy, your Norman Bates, your Mike, your Michael Myers, your the Gill Man, Mummy, the werewolf. Anyway, iconic figures. If you want to know where this iconic figure came from, it's part 3 of Friday the 13th. So if you're coming in the store as a horror fan, I'm telling you, you need to watch this film, because otherwise you're depriving yourself of understanding where this character's iconic look comes from. So, we can argue the merits of whether or not the film is super enjoyable, but it's still it possesses a place in history that is unrivaled for launching a major iconic horror character. So for that reason, I say part 3 is, if you walk in the store, you got to watch this film.
Can I, real quick? So explain that to me. So let's say I'm a big horror fan.
Yes.
I've seen a few Friday the 13th, saw the first one,
but
saw
not
the
part 3.
one.
Yeah.
I saw a couple mid-tier ones. Let's say, I don't know. Let's even say,
Yeah.
oh, you love 7. I saw 6 and 7. I saw something like that.
Yeah.
Why would I need to see this? Like, what adds? Just the fact that he picks the hockey mask up in this one? Like, that's...
Well, it's
you know what I mean? Like, I guess, help me explain that a little bit. Like, how does the actual action of just getting the mask in this film lead a credence or lead a value?
Well, I would say if you've seen 6 and 7 and you have any enjoyment of it, or you think that, Jason's cool, then I say you got to watch 1 and 3. 1 and 3 are crucial parts of the story. 1 is where you get the backstory to Jason, and 3 is where you understand where the mask came from. And I understand what you're saying, Chris, but for me, there's something fun about knowing the origin story of the things that make the thing the thing. So it's like there's Rogue One from Star Wars, right? I didn't know that I wanted that little bitty treat until it came out, and I was like, you know what? That was awesome to hear, and that part of the story that I had always been familiar with from the earlier films. But it was like reaching in on Christmas morning and open up one of those little Advent things, and you reach in and you get this beautiful, wonderful piece of chocolate to chew on. That's what if you've liked any of the Jasons, I think 3 is part of the ones you have to like, because this mask is iconic, and this film is where the mask comes from. That's my opinion, and that's all of this is subjective. all of this is subjective. There's no objective thing that says that you have to watch.
That was not his opinion. That was someone else's opinion. Let's hear your real opinion, Mickey. Let's hear it.
My real opinion is that Chris shouldn't be allowed down here anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Fuck you. You're out of the club.
Yeah, you're out. Cropsey's in.
How dare you question? How dare you question?
You know what? Fuck it. Not just Cropsey, Alfred too. I'll take both of them over Chris right now.
Wow.
Whoa,
These two
that's
guys
fucked up, Mickey. That's fucked up.
You would let them in over me, your best friend.
Cropsey makes sense, but fucking Alfred, we don't you say his name, he just shows up. It's disgusting.
As long as he agrees with me.
Alfred, I see you in the corner. Alfred, I see you in the corner. Do you agree with Mickey?
I think if he's a friend, then yes.
Are you a friend? Oh God, are you a friend? Oh God, Mickey, don't do it.
Official process. Are you being Mickey's best friends with Alfred?
I can't. I'm sorry, Alfred. I thought I could. I can't. Bring Chris back down. I'd rather talk to Chris. Get out. You're just creeping me out. Your vibe is weird.
Well, can we shake hands?
No, you can't touch me. Go rub Michelangelo's shoulders. I want nothing to do with you.
Fuck out of here.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. So
You keep asking him down. You keep complaining about him
I
coming
don't
down.
keep asking. He just shows up, and I'm pointing it out. That's all. I gotta say, who do I recommend this to? Um, I mean, I get like F the F13 series is such a fun thing that I would hate for anyone not to have the full experience. It's not for everyone, and it's not it's not a well not all the movies are well thought out ideas. They're just they're cranking shit out. Um but I think the third chapter is a crucial element in the look at the Friday the 13th series as like a season of a series. You know what I mean? And like each little movie adds its little gem. It's got something to contribute. And I think this one is like why I love it so much is that it's like, listen, you're not gonna have to think hard on this thing. You know what I mean? You get the mask, you get the introduction of like they're toying with the idea of like, yeah, this person sucks, right?
There he is.
Uh I think is this the Jason I bought for Mickey?
No,
So
you got me. No, this is part 3D is the one that I got at a Comic-Con, but you got me part 7, which was much more
Yes.
thoughtôt gift. A
So-
much more thoughtful gift.
Mickey owns 3 NECA Jasons, right?
I own 2, 3, and 7. And hey, if anybody wants to gift me more, let me know. You can find us on the Return Slot of Horror podcast on YouTube. I'm happy to take more of these.
Mickey will take
NECAs.
them. Mickey will take them.
Yeah, give me your NECAs.
That sounds like such a weird statement.
Yes, it does. Give me your NECAs. I think if you're coming in and you got a slumber party happening, F13 Part 3 is a perfect movie for you. Especially if you're a 30-year-old Shelly coming in, you're having a slumber party and you need a movie. Watch F13 Part 3. Maybe you'll learn something. If Tommy Chung comes into the video store, I recommend Part 3.
Do you think he'd be offended?
No.
Oh, Tommy Chong's got a good
Imitation
attitude.
is
He'd be
the
like,
highest
it's great.
form of
That's great.
flattery, right? That's what they say.
Yeah. Question for Chris before we got out of here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we've done a series of summer films, all
Yeah.
of them around summer camps. Just right out, Cropsey, Madman Mars,
Mhm.
Jason or Angela. Who's winning in a free for all summer camp Slash-A-Thon?
Well, so wait, you're talking about just the killers in a battle royale?
No. First of all, it's a summer camp full of campers. So it's like they're going around trying to kill as many campers as possible as they can, and they're
Okay.
gonna at some point meet each other and have to kill each other.
Yeah.
Who's making it out the final kill? Who's maybe getting the most kills? And who maybe is like, I don't know, turned over a new leaf and decides not to kill because they're like not like they're in competition. I don't know. You tell me what happens in this particular film.
Okay. I got you. So Angela is definitely the first to go because I
Okay.
mean she's just or they are just a human and they're just 15, 16-year-old. Of course they're gonna get knocked off real easy.
Gotcha.
Cropsey, I mean, he's a burned victim. He's a human. He's going to get knocked off shortly after.
Okay. All right.
He does have that. He does have that. Burned alive powers, evidently, from the burning. But that, and then it becomes a battle between Madman Marsh and Jason. And I think that Jason takes Madman Marsh out because Madman Marsh trips over his hobbit feet. And Jason's easy to deliver the killing blow.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how I see it.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's objective. There's no subjectiveness there. That's Jason wins.
Jason comes out on top. Always.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jason Voorhees, the mama boy, the mama's
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why you like this film so much?
It's an Oedipus. It's an
No.
Oedipus Rex
Oedipus
thing.
fails, and it makes okay. I gotcha.
Yeah.
I
He
gotcha.
doesn't. He can't have sex with these women, so he has to impale them with sharp objects. Yes, and they all remind him of his mother.
Also, Jason's very easily fooled, so there's that.
I am
Whoa.
easily fooled. I thought Chris was my friend. I invited him down into the basement, and he insults everything I do. I don't spend
I
hours
invite him into my
preparing these
club.
things, and then you shit all over it.
Come on, you know me too well to not think that if you asked me a whole bunch of serious questions, I wouldn't mock and make fun of it.
He's easily fooled. He's a Jason.
You're a guy. You just put some lipstick on. I'll give you a kiss.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. That was volunteered a lot of information just then. All right. When we do live episodes, know that min if you come in with lipstick on.
Exclusive
gonna be a kissing booth.
episode. Mickey, you're gonna have to do a lot of editing on this
Yeah, I
one.
feel like this episode's really gonna have to be cut apart a lot.
So, Chris, thank you for joining us, even though you're a piece of shit. Really love having you here. Mickey, thank you for editing. Thank you for co-hosting. Thank you for running this video store with me. Thank you for
F13
being the Vera of the group.
I am. Always
I
will be.
appreciate it. So thank you, Red Tower. Thank you to our animators on this exclusive episode. Go to Fangoria, type in Red Tower, get 20% off. We love you, listeners. Thank you for being with us. Happy Friday the 13th. We love you. I love you guys.